Hello, family. Welcome to this new episode. It's a first ever episode. Yes. Boo, 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 boo. Yes, it is the first episode of The Roots of Money. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. It is quite a privilege and honor to start this podcast and give you guys all the information that you guys need about money and finances. I want to first explain why I started this podcast. I started this podcast because the videos that I make on social media, they are not long enough to explain everything that I want to explain. There is so much that I need to teach people about money, about businesses. Yet those videos are not giving me, that privilege to say everything that I want to say. So these are carefully put down podcast. Everything that I say here, it's well researched. Everything that I talk about here, it is legit and good. So yes, I'm not a financial advisor. I need you guys to know that I am not a financial advisor. However, I do teach these things for educational purposes. Yes, you still do need to do your own research, compare what I'm saying. However, I do my thorough research, and this is coming from my own experience. Most of the things that I talk about, they're coming from my own experience. I am an investor. I invest hugely in the stock market. I invest also in commodities and properties, and I do have a business. My business is a group of businesses called MSN Group, which is Msisi Simon Lovu Group. It has 6 groups under it. So when I talk about businesses, I actually talk about things that I own myself. When I talk about properties, I talk about things that I own. When I talk about cars, I talk about things that I own. So all of these things, I actually transfer my knowledge to you and my experiences. This is one thing that I like about books. When you actually read books, you read someone else's 20 years of experience, someone else's, you know, 50 years of hardship experience, good times, bad times, all in just one book. So look at this episode as something like that. I'm here to give you all the information that you actually need about money and starting businesses. We're going to look at so many things. I've shared everything how we're going to go about this podcast in our introduction. So now I want us to start with our first episode. So what are we looking at in our first episode? We are looking at budgeting and money mistakes. These are mistakes that people make about money, and also how you need to structure your things around money. So let's dive down, guys. Today we're going to talk about budgeting and mistakes that people make about money. I love this episode, by the way. That's why I made it the first episode. So let's dive down into everything. Number one, what are the benefits of budgeting? Number one, it helps you to organize your finances. You know exactly how much money you're earning and how much money you are spending. That is very important to know that balance, to know everything that is going to happen on a monthly basis in your finances. It is very, very important. So a budget helps you to map out everything that you have. Number two, it tries to help you to alert you on problems that you may have about money. For instance, let's say you put down your budget and you see, I actually don't have enough money to save, or I don't have enough money to invest, or I don't have even enough money for transport or for fuel. Then you look at all of that, and then you start to try and come up with solutions and how you can work around this problem that you are having. That's the best thing about a budget. It helps you to map out everything, to look at the problem and to identify it before it actually happens. When you put things down, it makes things easier. Number three, it helps you to manage your cash flow. You know, with okay, this is how much I'm going to have, this is how I'm going to spend. You know, when you are doing it, that you are doing the right thing. You don't think with oh, let me pray, I don't even want to look at my app because I don't know how much money I have used. You know, everything is mapped out, and that's good. I love that. Number four, it helps you to target your growth. When you're doing your budgeting, the main thing that you need to do is to look at the bigger goal. Why am I budgeting? Where am I going? When I'm saving for where? If I'm saving for a short-term goal, okay, I'm putting down everything, and then this money, I want it to have made this much money maybe in 2 years, in 3 years, in 4 years. So a budget gives you that sort of a map out to say, all right, at this point in time, this is what's going to happen. Love that about a budgeting. So it does improve everything in terms of your well-being, your confidence about money, because everything is just sitting, it's just laid down. Very, very nice. So that's what I love about budgeting. Those are advantages of budgeting. So when everyone is telling you why you should budget, please budget, do this and do that, this is actually what they mean. They mean, please map out everything that you need to know about money. It is very, very important for you to know that this is how money works. This is how you need to use money. This is the things that I need to do. This is how I need to allocate stuff. Basic stuff, guys. You have to make sure that things are allocated in that way. All right, let's look at the mistakes that people make about money. I love this one again. Number one, people make mistake by not budgeting. They don't have a financial plan. I do not know how you live your life without having a budget. Very important for you to have a budget. Number two, they are paying very minimal amount for their credit cards, meaning they are hurting themselves. Guys, you need to know one thing. Credit cards have a high interest rate. So if you pay very less, you will always pay more money. You will always pay, and you will always be behind. You would rather pay more. So that is the second thing that people do wrong when it comes to their finances and paying stuff. Number three, they do not have emergency funds. I cannot overemphasize this. When you have problems, you go to your emergency funds and pay for whatever. Maybe you have a tire puncture, or a tire just broke, or you need to change it, or a kid is sick, or someone has passed on, something that you have not anticipated that is going to happen. We call that unforeseen circumstances. In those unforeseen circumstances, with your emergency funds, it would help you. You don't have to borrow money. You don't have to use the money that you did not, budget to use for an emergency. An emergency must have its own money. This is one problem that people have. The reason why a lot of people actually don't have money is because they use money that they have budgeted for something else to something else. That is one thing that hurts them. Number four, they are not saving for retirement. People are not saving for the retirement stage. That's why, when people are old, they can't sustain themselves, and they can't even leave something for their kids. Generational wealth. They don't have anything. Now they would rely on government. They would rely on other people helping them and all of that. Retirement. Retire early. This is one thing that you need to sort out as soon as possible. As soon as you get a job in your 20s, early in your 30s, the retirement needs to be in place. You will thank yourself later. Number five, ignoring a low credit score. Please do not sit down and just look at your credit score plummeting. Please fix your credit score. I cannot overemphasize the importance of having a good credit score. Let me tell you, a good credit score is money, is wealth. Credit score can get you a property. You can go to the bank and say, hey man, I need this much money. You'll get it. Why? Because your credit score is quite good. Please fix your credit score. I cannot overemphasize this aspect. Another point that is worth noting is a lot of people, they pay a lot for financial services. They don't look at their finances. They don't help, sorting out their finances and all of that. It's very, very important that when you are paying your financial services, either your insurance, either your car insurance or your funeral cover or whatever it is, don't pay a lot. Think about how much you are paying and weigh all of these out. Look at different financial institutions and find the one that is affordable but still give you the right packages. This is one thing that people don't actually do. People don't compare things. Not only financial services, by the way. People generally, they don't like comparing. I would like to encourage you guys to compare things. Compare a car with, with this garage and that garage. Compare, you know, food prices in that supermarket and that supermarket, and please take advantage of, sales. Take advantage of discounts and all of those things. I mean, it's very important that you do that everywhere. If you can just take advantage of that, I cannot overemphasize the importance of that. You'll save a lot. Another thing is to have membership cards. When you swipe, you're getting points. When you're swiping, you're getting this. That one is also very important because, I was at one of the store. I won't mention it, but when I got there and I swiped, and I was like, oh, okay, I have 90 rand in my credit. It's not a lot. You would think it's not a lot, but guess what? Now, if I need something, I can just go and swipe with those points. I have 90 rand, 90 something rand in my card. I think that's good enough because it's money that I did not work for. I needed those things anyway, so I was gonna go to that store and buy those things that I needed anyway. So it's either, it was that card I had or not, I was gonna buy those things anyway. So now that I have that card, the point card, it's fine. Now I go swipe and then I get point. So please do that. In the garage, have the point cards. In the supermarkets, everywhere, have those cards. It's very important, by the way. Please, that's how you save. Now let's get down to the most important thing about budgeting. I'm going to share two budgeting plans or budgeting structures that I would highly recommend. You can choose from these depending on your expenses and depending on your earnings. So the money that you get on a monthly basis, you can choose from these. Number one, you can use the 50-30-20 rule, or you can use the 70-20-10 rule. I will explain them. The 50-30-20 rule goes like this: 50% goes towards your basic needs, and then 30% goes towards your investments, savings, and emergency funds, and then your 20% goes towards leisure, so going out with friends and family, eating out, whatever that you want to do, vacations, movies, buying in the restaurants, those drive-throughs that you guys do. That's the money that you need to use. It should be allocated in that 20%. 20% is money that you can use anyway, anyhow, without actually feeling guilty. It is your money at the end of the day. You worked hard for it. So if you use this structure, it's good. You would know that you are doing the right thing. There are people, when they are using money, they feel guilty. It's because they did not allocate it. They feel like they're doing the wrong thing. There's nothing wrong with treating yourself. There's nothing wrong with going to a spa. There's nothing wrong with eating, in a fancy restaurant or sleeping in the hotel, going on vacation. Nothing wrong with that. As long as you have budgeted for that, it's good enough. Even if you spend 100,000, if you budgeted for that 100,000, it is okay. The only thing that, financial advisors and financial coaches try to tell you is that don't use the money that you're not intended to use. Don't use the money that you did not budget to use. That's all we are saying. But we are not even detecting how to use your money. It is your money at the end of the day. All we are saying is please use the money the right way. Structure it, and then you will be good to go. That's all we are saying, and I hope you understand, because I know some of you guys, you get angry at us that we are telling you how to use your money. And by the way, we are not telling, we are advising, we are helping. That's what we are doing. Anyway, let's go to the second one, which is the 70-20-10. The 70-20-10 is for someone who really have more expenses. This is someone who feels, I have a lot of things that I need to do. I don't know how to go about them. So 70% goes towards basic. That's where you'll pay for all your stuff, because you said you have, a lot of things that you need to pay for. And then 20% then goes towards your investment. When I say investment, it's wealth investment, retirement investment, and whatever. If you are investing for kids as well, that's where it goes. And then you also have your savings account for whatever that you want to save for, and emergency. Actually, emergencies are actually savings, so you are saving towards emergencies. And then 10% is leisure. I've explained leisure as well in terms of what can you do with that money. So 10%, this is for someone who doesn't go out a lot, or someone who is trying to save money, who is trying to be a little bit frugal while they're developing their financial capabilities, that are trying to save more money for bigger things. This is how they could actually do it. Let me tell you, the best way to save money is to actually um, sacrifice on leisure, sacrifice on going out, sacrifice on eating out, sacrifice on friends. Tell them, with, hey guys, I will see you after 3 months, I'll see you after 2 months, I'm trying to do something, I'm trying to save. That's how you would always get this right, sacrificing the leisure for important things. Especially, you cannot afford not to invest and save money. I cannot overemphasize the importance of saving and investing. Anyway, I want to introduce you guys to something that fascinated me. I don't know if it's going to fascinate you, but it certainly did fascinate me. The Chinese budget model. It's called zero-based budget. I love it. I love it. So basically, what they do is they allocate the money on everything and they're left with zero. I'm going to make an example on how they're doing it. So they have maybe 5,000 salary. That's a net salary, right? If they have that money, then they have grocery, utilities, vacation, school fees, bond, gym membership, and transportation, whatever, right? So they will allocate that 5,000 to everything and they will be left with nothing. So what they're essentially saying is every money must be allocated. There is nothing that you must do out of the blue. So for instance, if you have allocated all the money and you are left with zero, if someone comes in and says, Msizi, can you borrow money? You don't have it because you have already allocated money on everything. So they are basically saying, commit your money on everything. Commit your money on all your expenses. In that way, you won't have temptations to take money and use it elsewhere. Everything is allocated, so all your 5,000 will be split across all your expenses. All your 20,000 will be split. If you are earning 50,000, all of it'll be allocated. You can allocate it on everything. Even if you would allocate it to, say, if someone comes to invest money, that, I mean, to borrow money, that it is allocated. There is no money that is just floating and that is not accountable or counted for. Very, very important. I love it, by the way. I don't know if you guys are gonna love it, but I certainly do love it. Please try it out. All right. Another thing that I want us to look at is the actual budget. What should be on your budget? These are the things. Now you create a table and have these things. On the title of your table, you have items or things to buy or pay for, and then you have the amount of all those things, and then you have a category, whether it's a need or it's a want, and then you have another category that basically saying, do you need these things? Is it a need or is it a want, and what is it for? Why do you need this product? So it's basically a question, why you need this, and then you need to justify. I will tell you later why it's so important for you to justify. Okay, let's go down to the table so that you see. Grocery, 2,000. It is a need, source of life or survival. So you see there, as why do you need this? I need to answer with it. I need food because it's a source of surviving. I can't live without having food. So you see, it's a good justification. Now when you're buying food, you know exactly why you're buying it for. It is a source of survival. You're surviving because of food. So let's go and see the next one. Utilities, 1,000 rand. Is it a need or want? It is a need. And then dependent services, you need utilities to live. So you see, I said dependent services. You do need electricity to live. You do need water to live. So you need to pay for those rates because you need these things. Let's go to another one. Vacation. Is it how much? 1,500. Is it a need or want? It is a want. But listen to the explanation. Why do you need it? To distress and rejuvenate. You see, already you are convincing your mind why you are doing this vacation. You are doing it because it is a need for me. It's something that I need to do to rejuvenate, to distress. I've worked for this whole year, and then it's towards the end of the year now. I need to just go and relax. It's been a hard year for me. It's been a crazy year, busy year, and I do need this. You see, by having this down and putting it down like this, you know exactly why you're doing it, and you will never feel guilty about it, because you know, hey, I'm here in this thing, in this vacation, and I need it. It's something that I definitely need. So it's something like that. And then let's look at school fees. School fees, 5,000. Is it a need or want? It is a need, because kids needs to go to school. And then what is the justification? Investment on kids' future. You are investing on these kids to have the right knowledge, to to be the right citizens, to be the right people. You are investing on them to give them a kickstart of life. You see, that's a justification, and it's a good one. So do you see how important it is to have this column that says, why do you need this? Do you really need this? And justify why you need it. So you need to have it. Let's look at a bond or a rent or bond payment, 6,000. Is it a need or want? It is a need. Why? Because it's a shelter. You need to sleep somewhere. And then what is it for? The answer: shelter, survival, and for health. If you are sleeping in the right place, it is for health. You're taking care of yourself. You're not sleeping outside, getting cold and all of that. So it is for survival. So for survival, it is a shelter that you need to live. And then let's look at gym membership, 800 rand. Is it a need or want? It's a want. You can gym outside, you can gym in your room, you can run outside, you can do anything without actually paying for a gym. But let's look at the justification. The justification is need, but you can be free. You can use the free public services or facilities. Now in every parks there are gymming facilities and all of that. You can literally use that. So it is a want. It is a want. Don't confuse gym membership and healthy lifestyle. Healthy lifestyle, it is a need, but a gym membership is a want. You can live without going to the gym and gymming in your house. You can gym in the public facilities and all of that. Don't confuse the two. So what I'm trying to do in this table is to show you that some of the things that we do, we think they are the need, but they're actually not needs, they are wants. Until you justify, you would see that, oh, okay, actually I can do the other way, I can do it this way, I can do it that way. I don't have to say this is a need or a want. I will make another example. DSTV or Netflix, is it a need or want? Some people would say, yo, I can't live without this thing. No, you can. It's a want. However, it's something that you need to distress. It's something that you need, when you're at home, for entertainment or for whatever, even for kids, for educational purposes. Maybe there are channels that teach them something. It is a want. However, it's something that, remember, a want is something that you can live without. So it's something that you can live without, but you can justify why you need it. Now that you have it, it's up to you whether you see that it's taking so much money or you can actually afford it. If you don't afford it, it's when then you come and find something that you can do to get you money to pay for this thing, because you have justified enough to yourself that you need it. So have it, but just know that it is a want. You can still live without it. So what I want you guys to know is there are things that people do and they think they really do need them. They like, yo, I can't live without this. No. You can actually live without them. The only thing that you need to know is, fine, if you can't afford it at that point in time, you can find money to pay for it, or you can do it the other way. But don't convince yourself to do things that you don't have to do. I'll make another example that kills a lot of black families. We always say, hey, I need to do this for my family, I need to do this for my family. Yes, you have to do those things, but don't do them if you are not affording. Don't do them if you are just pleasing them, but you are suffering inside. Do them if you are able to do these things. If you are not able to do them, please don't do them. The bad thing that you can ever do for yourself is to prioritize other people but not prioritize yourself. I'm not saying don't support your family. I'm saying support them if you can. Can they support you? Maybe not. So why are you supporting them if they are not supporting you, and you are supporting them with the last that you have, the little that you have? That's the problem. So don't use emotions to do things, use logic. This is one thing that I always fight with people. Abathi sizi manje fanele ngibuke ingane yasekhaya ihlupheka, manje fanele ngibuke ekhaya behluphekile. Fine, I get that, and it's difficult. As black people, we are raised to look after our parents, our family members, and all of that. In fact, everyone. But do you have the money to do that? Have you budgeted to do that? Are you doing something else to help them? Maybe it's not even about money. Maybe you just need to give them opportunities. Maybe you need to help them to apply. Maybe you need to help them to just kickstart and then leave them. Don't be, that dependent person. Now they're depending on you. Now let's say you move away, let's say you pass on, or you just miraculously, you lose your job or whatever. How are they going to survive? Are they not going to survive? Chances are they are going to survive, but right now they are relying on you because you are there and you are providing help. All I'm saying is weigh things, use this chart. And by the way, you can get this chart on my book, The Road to a Million. It's going to help you to understand everything about finances. Otherwise, thank you so much for this first episode. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you so much for listening to it. Let me know if it was useful to you. Let me know how I can help you to improve your finances. How can I help you to work around your budgeting? How can I help you to work around having another multiple streams of income? Maybe you're in debt, maybe you have other problems. Please let me know. Thank you so much for supporting this podcast. Tell as many people as possible that the root of money is here, to teach you everything and anything about money. I'll be digesting all of these things, like telling you everything and anything that you need to know about money and making businesses. From me, Mrs. Simon Lovu, sign out. Thank you. Cheers.